15 questions to ponder on if you want to get self-love right. Question number 1. What am I still blaming myself for that I know deep down I did the best I could with? Maybe it was the way you snapped that one night when you hadn't slept, hadn't eaten, and your kid was screaming for something else. Maybe it was how long it took you to ask for help. Or the time you did and nobody showed up, so you convinced yourself that next time you just suffer in silence. Or maybe it's the guilt you carry for missing something, not catching the signs, not being perfect. The truth is, you did the best you could with what you had. The tools you had, the energy you had, the nervous system that you had. And still, you made it here. This question isn't meant to shame you. It's here to remind you that you deserve forgiveness, especially from yourself. Carrying that blame into every new chapter only teaches your heart to walk forward looking backward. You're allowed to put the bag down. What would change if you finally let yourself? Question number 2. If my child made the same mistake I did, would I hold it over them forever, or would I help them grow past it? Why don't I give myself that same grace? Imagine your child came to you with tears in their eyes, heart heavy over a mistake they made. Maybe they broke something expensive and didn't mean to. Maybe they gave up on something too soon. Maybe they hurt someone they care about because they were hurting too. Would you look at them and say, "You should carry that forever"? Or would you sit beside them, hold their hand, and say, "Let's talk about it. You're still good. We'll learn from this"? Most of us don't even hesitate to give our kids or anyone else compassion, but when it comes to ourselves, we replay our lowest moments on loop like a punishment we think we deserve. Here's the truth. If you believe your child can grow past their mistakes, you have to believe that you can too. Grace doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing healing over punishment. Give yourself the love you'd give them, and then some. Question number 3. What apology am I waiting for from someone else that I really need to give to myself first? Maybe you've been waiting for someone to say, "I'm sorry I wasn't there for you. I'm sorry I made you feel small. I'm sorry I didn't protect you, didn't listen to you, didn't see what you needed." And while you wait for those words to come, for that validation, that repair, you keep trying to hold yourself together like it doesn't still hurt. But here's the truth that nobody wants to admit. Some people will never say sorry. Not because you didn't deserve one, but because they can't. So what if the closure isn't in their apology, but in the one that you give yourself? I'm sorry I believed I wasn't enough. I'm sorry I kept making myself smaller just to be loved. I'm sorry I judged myself so harshly for how I coped. You don't need someone else to name your pain for it to be real. Start with your own voice. That's where the healing begins. Question number 4. What part of myself have I been hiding to make other people more comfortable? Is it the part of you that's loud when she's excited? The one who takes up space with her ideas, her laugh, her confidence? Or maybe it's the sensitive side, the soft one, the part that cries easily and used to be called too emotional. Maybe you've been hiding your creativity or your spirituality, or the version of you who doesn't want to follow the rules your family wrote for you. Somewhere along the way, someone gave you the message that you were too much, so you folded yourself into something smaller. You made yourself easier to manage, more palatable, more polite. But here's the thing. Shrinking doesn't keep you safe. It keeps you stuck. If your presence makes people uncomfortable, maybe they were never safe for the full version of you in the first place. So ask yourself, what part of me is still waiting to be seen, even by me? And what would it feel like to finally stop hiding? Question number 5. What story am I still carrying that was never mine to begin with? Maybe it's the story that you have to do everything alone to prove you're strong, or the one that says rest is lazy, softness is weak, and asking for help is a failure. Maybe it's the idea that your worth comes from how much you give, how quiet you stay, or how little space you take up. These aren't your truths, they're hand-me-downs, passed down through generations, wrapped in love, but laced with survival. Some of us are still carrying our mother's exhaustion, still living by our grandmother's fears, still playing by rules written by people who never got the chance to be free. But here you are, pausing long enough to even ask this question. That's powerful. Because the moment you realize that the story isn't yours, you get to stop living in it. You get to write a new one where you don't just survive. You choose what feels like peace. So what story is it time to put down? Question number 6. Whose voice is in my head telling me I should be better? And does that voice even deserve to be there? You know the one, the voice that whispers, you should have done more, you should look different by now, you're not doing enough. It sounds like you, but it's not. Maybe it's your aunt's voice, still stuck on appearances, or a teacher who only praised perfection, or the ex who convinced you that love had to be earned. Maybe it's society itself, selling you this influence standard of what a good woman or wife or mother should be. But here's the truth. You were never broken. That voice wasn't telling you the truth. It was telling you what it was taught. So before you accept another ounce of guilt or shame, ask yourself, who gave this voice permission to take up space in my head? And why does their opinion still get to ride shotgun in a life that they don't even live? You can choose to turn the volume down. You can replace that voice with one that sounds like love, one that sounds like you. Question number 7. What's something I survived that I never actually gave myself credit for? You got through it, but did you ever stop to actually honor that? That season when you were barely sleeping, that heartbreak you kept private because no one would have understood, the depression you masked with smiles and showed up anyway. The way you still made dinner, still cared for your kids, still moved forward while it felt like everything inside you was falling apart. And yet, you brushed it off like it was nothing. But it wasn't nothing. It was strength. It was survival. It was you, carrying the weight of it all without breaking in public. You didn't need to be perfect. You just needed to be acknowledged. So this is your reminder. That thing you got through, it was big. And you deserve to say, damn, I really made it through that. That's not ego, that's self-respect. Question number 8. If I had to write a thank you letter to myself today, what would it say? Dear me, thank you for getting out of bed when you didn't want to, for showing up for everyone else, even when no one noticed you were running on empty. Thank you for pushing through days you didn't think you could, and for letting yourself fall apart when holding it together was too much. Thank you for trying again, for loving your people with your whole heart, for putting one foot in front of the other, even when the path was foggy. Thank you for choosing to keep going, for not giving up on yourself completely, even if you came close to it. And most of all, thank you for being here, still learning, still healing, still worthy. Love, me. Now take a deep breath and ask yourself, what would your thank you letter say today? Go ahead, give yourself some credit. You earned it. Question number 9. What part of my everyday life have I been overlooking that actually deserves to be celebrated? Not every win comes with applause. Sometimes it's in the little things that you do on autopilot. The lunch you packed even though you were exhausted, the bedtime story you read with one eye open, the way you kept calm when everything in you wanted to scream. You've been calling these things normal, but they're not. They're extraordinary acts of love that no one sees but you. You normalize holding everything together and then wonder why you feel unseen. But here's the truth. Your effort counts. The way you show up, the energy you pour into others, the way you choose presence when it would be easier to check out. That deserves celebration. You don't need a holiday to say, I did that. Look at your everyday life a little closer. The magic's already there. You just haven't been taught to clap for it. Question number 10. What does my body need from me today? Not just what it looks like. Not how it looks, not what the scale says, not whether your jeans fit the same. That's not what I asked. But what does your body actually need from you today? Maybe it's rest, even if you've barely earned it in your own mind. Maybe it's a good stretch, a long cry, a moment of stillness without being touched or needed. Maybe it's food that nourishes, not punishes, or movement that feels like freedom, not a chore. Your body has carried babies, memories, grief, joy, and so much pressure. And somehow it still shows up for you, even when you criticize it the most. So what if you stopped trying to fix it and started listening to it instead? Could you thank it? Could you trust it? You don't owe anyone a perfect body, but you do deserve a safe, loving relationship with your own. So ask it, what do you need from me right now? And then listen. Question number 11. When was the last time I did something for myself and didn't feel guilty about it? Think about it. When was the last time you did something just for you and didn't feel the need to explain it, earn it, or rush through it? When was the last time you rested without a to-do list buzzing in the back of your head? The last time you bought yourself something and didn't say, I should have spent that on the kids. The last time you enjoyed something, really enjoyed it, and didn't feel selfish for doing so. Somewhere along the way, you were taught that motherhood meant martyrdom, that your needs had to come last or else you weren't doing it right. But guilt is not proof of love. It's just a habit. You don't have to suffer to be a good mom. You don't have to deprive yourself to be worthy of care. So maybe today is the day you choose yourself fully, without apology, without guilt, because peace is allowed here, and you're allowed to feel it. Question number 12. If I stopped waiting for permission and just made myself a priority, what would change? What would your life look like if you stopped asking, silently or out loud, is it okay if I take care of myself now? What would change if you stopped waiting for the perfect timing, the kids to be older, the schedule to open up, someone to notice how exhausted you are, and just choose yourself anyway? Not in a loud, rebellious, drop everything and disappear kind of way, but in a steady, rooted, I matter too kind of way. Maybe you'd rest more. Maybe you'd speak up. Maybe you'd stop tolerating things that drain your peace. Maybe, just maybe, you'd remember who you were before guilt taught you to make yourself small. You don't need permission to be cared for. You don't need approval to make joy part of your routine. If no one else has said it, let me. You're allowed to take care of you. So what would change if you believed that? Question number 13. What version of self-love actually feels natural to me, not Instagram pretty? You know, the kind of self-love that gets romanticized online. Bubble baths, matcha lattes, and $70 silk robes. But what if your version of self-love isn't picture perfect? What if it looks like sitting in your car for 5 extra minutes just to breathe? Or giving yourself permission to not check every notification right away? Maybe your self-love is quiet. Maybe it's messy. Maybe it's just survival with softness. You don't have to look like a brand campaign to be someone who's healing. You just have to ask, what makes me feel most like myself? That's the kind of self-love that sticks. The kind that's not curated, but chosen, over and over again. Question number 14. Where in my life am I pretending I don't know what to do, just because I'm scared to actually do it? Sometimes it's not confusion, it's fear dressed up like indecision. You do know what needs to be done, the boundary you need to set, the conversation you've been avoiding, the change that keeps knocking at your door. But knowing requires action. And action? That feels terrifying when you're used to keeping the peace, even if that peace comes at your own expense. So you say, I'm not sure yet, but deep down, you've been sure for a while. This question isn't about rushing yourself. It's about trusting that you already carry the answer and you're strong enough to follow it, even if your voice shakes. I know it's easier said than done, but I think your time to act on it is coming soon. Question number 15. How often do I check in with what I need instead of just what others need from me? You know what everyone else wants, what the kids need, what your partner is going through, who's low on clean socks, what bill is due next. But when was the last time you asked you, hey, what do I need right now? Not in a dramatic, all-day self-care retreat kind of way. Just a simple moment to pause and check in. Do I need rest, quiet, a snack, a cry? Because when you only exist in response to others, you forget you're a whole person, not just someone's solution. Self-trust begins with hearing yourself. You can't meet your needs if you're never listening for them. Because you deserve it, it's a bonus question. If I loved myself fully, what would change in my daily life? Not halfway, not only on the good days, but fully. If you really loved yourself completely, unapologetically, what would shift in how you moved through the day? Would your mornings start with intention instead of urgency? Would your yes be sacred and your no guilt-free? Would you stop talking down to yourself in the mirror? Would you feed your body like it deserves care, not control? Would you finally stop settling in your schedule, your relationships, your joy? Because self-love isn't just affirmations and bubble baths. It's a daily practice of choosing yourself again and again and again. So ask yourself, if I loved myself like I say I want to, what would I do differently starting today? Now go do one of those things, even if it's small, even if it's a little uncomfortable, even if no one claps for it but you. I'm clapping.